Joey Badass has been kind of quiet. He did pop out a couple of times last year for a few singles and features, but there wasn't anything too groundbreaking. However, it looks like he wants to start off 2025 strong with his new track, The Ruler's Back, featuring production from Conductor Williams. It's hard to say if this track is going to lead up into any new music or projects. Hard to say right now, but either way, it is a pretty solid track. So let's take a look at it, and who knows? Maybe he's sending some shots out to somebody. Maybe. The title of the track, The Ruler's Back, comes directly from the opening track to Jay-Z's The Blueprint. So we got a reference right off the bat. If we're to continue looking at the blueprint as the blueprint, the next track on that album is Takeover, which, if you remember, was kind of the starting point and bit of a catalyst for Jay and Nas's beef back in the day. With that said, though, who could be the target of this track? Well, there's a few hints dropped throughout the song. In the first verse, Joey says, "I got murals in my city, fucking nomination. This for every time they left me out the conversation. I'm backed by popular demand and world domination," which, I mean, seems to be a direct reference to Kendrick's whacked out murals. For Joey, though, it seems that his murals have been standing pretty strong. Joey also mentions that, right after this, that he is the apparent king of New York, which, if you listen back to Control from over 10 years ago now, Kendrick claimed in that verse. As we go through the rest of the song, in the beginning of the second verse, Joey says, "Too much West Coast dick licking. I'm hearing throwing rocks. Really ain't shit sticking. Because if we talking bar for bar, it's Slim Pickins," which is also another nod to Jay-Z with his track 22 Twos off of Reasonable Doubt. And this is the part that makes it really seem like he's throwing shots not just at Kendrick, but the entire West Coast. The West Coast was on full display this year, and maybe he's feeling that he's got something to prove. Like, the East Coast feels a little bit left out. Like, no, we should pay attention to you guys too. I don't know. He mentions throwing rocks, which could be another reference to Kendrick because he often mentions throwing rocks and hiding hands. But it seems to get a little more general with the last bit of "if we talking bar for bar, it's Slim Pickins," which almost makes it seem like, looking at general West Coast music, there's not really much content. There's not a lot of stuff actually being said. It's just kind of vibes, which, totally fine. That does happen every so often, but we got some lyricists over here too. That's for sure. He continues to go into the second verse with "fuck around with your soul like ether, quick for a feature. This, that black Air Force energy coming out your speaker. I'm out your reach, your arms too short to box with the Elohim." Here, we have the obvious ether reference, which really does make it seem like this is the beginning of some sort of battle, or at least he's trying to initiate something. But then we also get the black Air Force energy, which, I mean, everyone knows the memes, but also was referenced in "Watch the Party Die," the track that Kendrick put on IG. The picture on that was just a pair of used black Air Forces. So, he seems to be trying to be like, "Hey, Kendrick, pay attention to me. I'm here. I'm trying to rap." He also does kind of go the Drake route and mentions height, but he also puts a different spin on it by putting himself into the position of the Elohim, which Kendrick has been referencing himself as for years. Like, he's always placed himself so high up that, hey, now someone else is doing it. What you gonna do? What are you gonna say about this? As we get to the end of the verse, he says, "This ain't boom bap, this that boom bow bing," which seems to be in direct reference to what Kendrick was saying on Peekaboo. And then he continues with, "We can run a fair one. I knew some real haters, but I ain't never fear none," which kind of sounds like what Kendrick was trying to do all along with this whole beef. Like, it started off with like that, and he really did make it seem like it was just purely about raps. And Kendrick said, like, "Hey, this is a friendly fade. We don't need to take it there." But clearly things went the other way. But here, Joey's like, "No, let's keep that going. Let's keep that sort of energy." But it also doesn't seem like he's afraid if things were to go a little bit further than just that. Overall, though, really solid track. and I'm curious to see what's going to come of it. Is this going to be a situation where we have a proper East Coast West Coast beef again? Or is it just going to be Joey yelling at a brick wall and no response coming? Because I don't know that Kendrick is necessarily going to pay the same level of attention to Joey Badass as he did with Drake or J. Cole. Like, yeah, Joey kind of came up around the same time as everyone else, but he hasn't been necessarily as consistent. But he's also doing other stuff too. Like, he's not purely focused on rapping. Like, he's acting as well, which also takes a whole lot of your time. So, the music tends to suffer in that sort of situation. I mean, look at Ice Cube. But anyways, I'm curious to see what happens. I do think that it's going to be more of a general West Coast response because of the too much West Coast dick licking bit. But also, I don't know if anyone really cares. But we'll just have to wait and see. But anyways, let me know in the comments below what you thought of this track and where you think things are going to go. And while you're down there, like and subscribe to see more rambling and content like this. Thank you for watching, and please stay safe out there.